We begin tonight with late-breaking news from the northeast side. Police say an altercation between two men there in their 20s ended with one of them being shot. This all happening in the 6900 block of North Van Diver Road near Eisenhower. It's unclear right now what led to that altercation, but police say at one point one of the men pulled the gun and shot the other man in the upper abdomen before taking off. Police say they caught up with the suspect in another location and were questioning him. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
A father of 4 girls loses everything after a fire ripped through his apartment complex. He is one of 8 families who survived the flames. He tells the Night Team's Jaffney Gray he is thankful he got his family out alive, but hopes there is more help on the way.
Restless.
Can't sleep, man. You can't sleep. You got trauma, in your hand,
That's exactly how Amna Contreras feels after his apartment was one of the units in this building that went up in flames overnight. It happened at the residences and medical apartments on Babcock. His neighbor lives 3 buildings away and saw the blaze.
Muy fuerte, eso pasó muy fuerte. Y oíamos todo, bueno, las ambulancias, los bomberos, y pues sí teníamos miedo.
The family of 7 saw the fire before it was too late.
I don't sleep, I keep smelling the stuff, When I wake up, my family, the fire's big in the roof,
Contreras says he heard the flames, but one thing he could not hear was the smoke alarm. He says it was not working. He says he had no time to grab anything but his family.
At that point, you can... You don't got hand for nothing, Just take care of your family and that's it,
The smoke so thick, he had to go back to rescue his youngest daughter.
So I got 4 girls, but I got count, hey, it's only 3 girls. Tell my wife, what is the other one, the little ones? They'll come back,
Miraculously, Contreras and 7 other families made it out uninjured. And even though the apartment complex is offering them another unit, he's heartbroken he'll have to start over to rebuild their lives.
Now my money is inside, everything is inside, You know how many years you work for that stuff, I'm working construction, It's hard for me,
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. The family did say that the American Red Cross is helping them. Now, we did reach out to the apartment complex's corporate office in Austin for a comment and have yet to get a response. Of course, we'll keep tracking this online at KSAT.com. But for now, Jaffney Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Nothing short of a miracle. That's how people are describing the outcome of this crash. The driver of a semi-truck lost control, rolling over and slamming into the convenience store near O'Connor and I-35. No one was killed, but at least 3 people were hurt. Tonight, the 18-wheeler is gone, but as the Night Team's Patty Santos tells us, cleanup still underway.
Everything in there is destroyed. They're very lucky somebody didn't get killed.
No one was killed, but at least 3 people were taken to the hospital when an 18-wheeler came barreling into this convenience store. The driver said he tried to stop, but the brakes failed.
As he exited, he lost control of the vehicle, and the rig and its contents slid from the access road into this building that we know now to be a Shell gas station.
The big rig was carrying asphalt. Tom Richards, a contractor for the convenience store, arrived hours after the crash.
So there was asphalt all over the floor of the store in there. So they had a bobcat in here earlier, scraping all that outside and piling it up out here. All of the counters and everything are mangled and crashed.
San Antonio police say at least 3 cars were damaged. You can see this silver car pinned underneath a big rig. The driver of the big rig seriously injured his arm but walked away from the crash.
Everybody stood up, everybody walked. It was amazing, and thank God for that.
2 men who were working on an ice machine were taken to a hospital out of precaution. Their boss says the big rig crashed into their truck, pushing them out of the way.
Thank God that they didn't get killed.
Back live out here, you can see it is pitch black out at this store as crews continue to try and restore this facility. At this point, in the coming days, officials will determine if and when this building can reopen. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Patty. That crash, not the only major one today. Earlier this afternoon, police and EMS responded to this scene off I-35 and Rittiman Road. It's still unclear at this time what led to this crash, but you can see a vehicle did flip into a roadside ditch there. We did see an ambulance at the scene, but we're still waiting to hear the extent of any injuries.
New on the Nightbeat, San Antonio police making a third arrest in the case of the so-called Fiesta bandits. 19-year-old Victor Cornejo joins Emmanuel Alonso and Emmanuel Godinez in being accused of those crimes. All three men have been booked on burglary charges after police say they stole from and in some cases vandalized vendor booths at Market Square during Fiesta overnight hours.
Well, it is the end of an era at Northeast Baptist Hospital, as today marked the last day babies will be born in the labor and delivery unit. The hospital group will be consolidating its maternity services over to nearby North Central Baptist Hospital. For one retired nurse and other long-timers, there's a feeling of pride to look back on the tens of thousands of babies who took their first breaths within those walls.
Many of us are friends with women that we met there. You're supposed to just be so professional, but there was a bond that was formed, and those bonds, many of them still continue. So it was a special place.
Northeast Baptist will continue to provide gynecological care and other surgical services like hysterectomies.
Another roadblock in the return to normalcy. The World Health Organization is encouraging people, including those fully vaccinated, to continue to wear masks due to the spread of the COVID-19 Delta variant. Studies show the available vaccines work against variants like the Delta, but there are concerns that viruses can mutate further still, causing them to be more contagious or even evade vaccine protection. The messaging from the World Health Organization conflicts with that of the CDC, which maintains fully vaccinated people can resume activities without wearing masks or physical distancing, except where required by law or business or workplace guidance. The Delta variant now represents 20% of new infections here in the U.S.
Rescue workers are still holding out hope they will find survivors as they head into another day of digging through the rubble of a partially collapsed condo building outside of Miami.
As of tonight, 10 people are confirmed dead, but more than 150 people still missing.
ABC's Morgan Norwood reports from Miami Beach.
Despite the climbing death toll, rescuers say they're committed to the search in Surfside.
We're going to continue and work ceaselessly to exhaust every possible option in our search.
Crews building trenches using sonars and dogs, all looking for signs of life.
There's certain areas that we have not gotten to, but we've been able to place cameras that seem to have large enough spaces, voids, that occupants may still be in there.
The rescue mission risky, one worker falling 25 feet into the rubble below. Crews hoping that beneath the sheets of concrete, pockets of air could hold survivors.
It gives us more hope that we'll be able to access those voids and make those rescues.
And sadly, no survivors found since Thursday. Steve Rosenthal was asleep when the building began to crumble. His body still bruised.
It's about 1:30 in the morning, and I hear the loudest thunderclap I've ever heard in my life.
Federal authorities called in for a preliminary investigation. A 2018 structural report released by the town of Surfside showing evidence of damage in the concrete under the pool deck and parking garage. ABC News confirming residents were assured by a Surfside building official that the tower was, quote, in very good shape. Engineers, meanwhile, combing through the camera footage looking for clues.
When I look at the video, I feel it looks like it starts from the bottom of the building and works its way up, or a failure concentrated at the support or the bottom of the building.
The review from federal authorities could take a considerable amount of time. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the state's own investigation could be available sooner. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Miami Beach, Florida.
We had another afternoon of pop-up showers, a few thunderstorms, mainly just tropical downpours. Not much in San Antonio, only a trace at the airport. Some slightly higher amounts elsewhere. It's really west of town, Hondo to Medina Lake area near the reservoir, Lake Hills, might go up toward Pipe Creek. 2 to 4 inches within that yellow swath there. And elsewhere across our area, everywhere you see a color on the map, we picked up at least some rainfall. And even across the state, it was a good day for maintenance rain to keep us drought free. The whole state pretty much getting in on some showers, even far west Texas where we're still drought stricken. So that was good. And I do think we're going to be doing this all over again. If you missed the shower activity today and yesterday, you'll have another chance. We'll talk about those rain chances coming up in a bit. But look at those temperatures. Hard to believe late June because of the rain, 70s for highs up in the Panhandle today. I'll be back in a few minutes to talk more about those rain chances and 4th of July coming up.
Thank you, Adam. The family of an Apollo 13 electrical engineer could use your help getting his name into space and around the moon. Arturo Campos passed away in 2004. A recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Laredo native and former Kelly Air Force Base supervisor helped save the lives of Apollo 13's crew after an oxygen tank on board exploded 2 days into the mission.
I can still remember him being called out in the middle of the night because it was so rare.
Without that solution, it would have ended up in tragedy.
The new Orion spacecraft lifting off later this year for its mission around the moon could earn Campos a new honor. He and an island named for the mythical god Apollo are the finalists to have a mooniquin named after them in the command seat. These mannequins are equipped with sensors and used ahead of manned flights. NASA wants you to vote, but voting does end at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We have the link to vote right now on our website, KSAT.com.
My favorite story of the day. Still ahead with support on the rocks, President Biden today revising his own comments in order to keep Republicans on board with his trillion-dollar bipartisan infrastructure plan.
Plus, we're going behind the kitchen door to let you know what location was forced to shut down due to various violations, including cockroaches. The Nightbeat continues next.
Let's go behind the kitchen door tonight. A Northwest San Antonio market was forced to close portions of its business temporarily and go through a re-inspection last month after racking up a long list of violations. Manpasand Supermarket on Colony Drive received a score of 71 and was forced to close its kitchen and meat market due to not having hot water, having missing drain plugs, a clogged sink, and leaking faucets. The health inspector also found roaches crawling on walls, a prep table, a cutting table, and a knife rack holder. For more scores this week, head over to KSAT.com.
President Biden trying to keep his $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan afloat by walking back comments from last week that have made Republicans uneasy. The president drew criticism for linking a bipartisan infrastructure agreement to improve roads, bridges, and tunnels with his American Jobs Plan, a multi-trillion-dollar human infrastructure initiative filled with many Democratic priorities like child and elderly care and climate initiatives. President Biden has since clarified his comments after some Republicans said they would not support the deal if it was linked to the jobs plan.
I was very glad to see the president clarify his remarks because it was inconsistent with everything that we had been told all along the way.
President Biden is expected to travel to promote the infrastructure deal starting tomorrow.
5 more states have been added to California's growing state-funded travel ban due to laws which discriminate against the LGBTQ+ community. Florida, Arkansas, Montana, North Dakota, and West Virginia joining 12 other states, including Texas. California state employees are prohibited from state-funded travel to those areas except under limited circumstances. The 5 newest states were added because they each introduced bills in the legislature that prevent transgender women and girls from participating in school sports consistent with their gender identity, block access to health care, or allow the discrimination of LGBTQ+ community.
Take a live look outside with live cam this evening, flying high above downtown San Antonio. 77 degrees right now. I know some folks were lucky to see some rain today. I was not one of them.
Yesterday, other folks did
Yeah.
too, more so on other parts of town. But yeah, if you didn't get the rain today or yesterday, there's still some hope. So don't worry. You can still cross your fingers as there'll be more chances. And we're not talking just one more chance, but even a few more chances.
Good.
So let's hope it'll be heading your way. Tim had a good accumulation the other day.
I got
didn't you?
close to an inch when I poured out last night. It was dark out there. I couldn't read it together, but it was pretty close to an inch.
Perfect. Love it. Love to hear it. And I saw a report on our KSAT Connect app, through our Weather Authority app, that Hondo picked up just over 3 inches at one rain gauge in a backyard in Hondo. Okay, let's talk about our rain chances going forward. Tomorrow, I think it's pretty much just the same as today. More of the same, but then our rain chances will fall off a little bit toward the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. So let's talk about our overall pattern. All right, here we go. We had the spotty afternoon showers popping up here and there, random in nature. That's going to be the case again tomorrow. It'll be our third day in a row of these tropical downpours that can give one neighborhood a quick 2 inches of rain, but just 4 or 5 miles away, nothing or a trace. This was good across the state. I mentioned earlier, it's good maintenance rain across the state. And that's what we had, maintaining our lack of drought and also putting a dent in the drought in parts of far west Texas where we still have the exceptional drought in place. Tomorrow, I think we do it all over again. Here's our future cast. More of the pop-up random afternoon showers situation where you just have to keep an eye on the KSAT weather app and a lot of those notifications that tell you if the rain is close, and just look around and look at the radar because it's going to be random in nature. Wednesday, a little bit of that activity, just not as much coverage. Notice the blue H, upper level high. That's going to be settling in, especially for Thursday and Friday. So those are our lowest rain chances this week, will be Thursday and Friday, because of that high in place. Still about a 10 to 20% shot then. But tomorrow we're at 40%, Wednesday 30. Lowest points will be Thursday and Friday. Then we ramp it up again as we get into the weekend. Even 4th of July, right now the 4th of July is looking like a very similar setup to what we had today with random pop-up downpours. I mean, the kind where if there's no lightning, you can stay swimming in the neighborhood pool and you're fine and safe. It's just one of those patterns, nothing extreme or severe, just kind of gets in the way of some outdoor activities. 90 was our high today. We briefly hit 90, then we had a shower and some cooler air around from rain, and our temperatures fell off pretty quickly. 77 right now, dew point is 72, so of course we have the typical June mugginess here in town. Bandera and Tarpley both at 71, Pleasanton 78. Bulverde, a comfortable 73, and Canyon Lake now 75. Del Rio 82, and they made it into the mid-90s today, but that was one of the exceptions out there because of the active weather pattern we had. Kennedy now 75 and 74 in Hondo. So tomorrow morning, we'll start the day in the lower 70s for most of us. Some upper 60s in the hill country. So Rock Springs, for example, 68. Canyon Lake 73, 73 Carrizo Springs, and even here in San Antonio, about 73 in the morning. By the afternoon, we're thinking mostly upper 80s, even some locations in the mid 80s. Gonzales, a high of 86. Same with Hondo. Kerrville, a high of 85. This does not look like your typical late June to early July temperature forecast here in San Antonio. I mean, Stone Oak about 86, Helotes 84. Elmendorf, Lavernia, 86 for a high temperature. It's that active weather pattern with those afternoon and early evening pop-up downpours that should keep our temperatures in check a bit for tomorrow. Then as those rain chances drop, temperatures spike back into the mid-90s by Friday. Then we ramp up the rain chances again. Just the afternoon variety into the weekend.
All right, thank you, Adam.
All right, Greg, there are some new branches to the Spurs coaching tree.
Yeah, and it extends now to the most storied franchise in all of NBA history, the Boston Celtics. When we come back, you'll recognize the name that becomes the new head coach of the Boston Celtics. And what about that fan that caused the pileup at the Tour de France? Coming up. San Antonio Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammon has missed out on becoming the first female head coach in the history of the NBA, after the Portland Trailblazers decided to go with Chauncey Billups as their new head coach. The 2004 NBA Finals MVP and most recently Clippers assistant coach has agreed to a 5-year contract, with that 5th year being a Blazers option. Becky had been a finalist for the job, but in the end they went with Billups. Hammon has also interviewed for the vacant head coaching job in Orlando, one of only 3 left. But now there's a report by The Athletic that Penny Hardaway is a strong candidate to replace Stephen Clifford, who was fired. Hardaway is currently the head coach at the University of Memphis, played for the Magic from 1993 to 1999 as part of his 14-year NBA career. Better news for another former Spurs assistant coach, Ime Udoka, who was introduced today as a new head coach of the Boston Celtics, the 18th head coach in the storied franchise history. He takes over for Brad Stevens, who moves up into the Celtics front office as the president of the team, succeeding Danny Ainge, who announced his retirement. Udoka played professional basketball for 12 years, 7 in the NBA, before moving into coaching. He was an assistant under the Spurs head coach Greg Popovich for 7 seasons, before moving to the Philadelphia 76ers, most recently the Brooklyn Nets, before he was named the Celtics head coach today. One thing that will help him with some of the game's superstars is his time as an assistant with Pop on the U.S. men's basketball team during the 2019 World Championships.
It's an honor to be part of this historic franchise. And in our conversations, in the interviews, the Zoom interviews, it was pretty evident and clear early on that me and Brad had a pretty good connection. And when I got with the whole crew, Allison as well, it was their passion that was attractive to me. Obviously, the roster is great, but the relationships I have with those players, and it's easy to see why this organization has been so successful. The people I've met today, it takes me to my San Antonio days, and whether it's Philadelphia, Brooklyn, good people in the good building, and I look forward to having the success with you guys. The relationships have been great, and I look forward to building those. But as far as the players in the roster, I'm very excited and honored to be part of it. And like you said, let's go for 18.
18th championship, that is. Now, one of the people Emmy is expected to add to his staff is Spurs assistant coach Will Hardy. Kawhi Leonard is not in Phoenix tonight, though the Clippers are facing elimination from here on out in the Western Conference Finals after going down 3-1 in this best-of-7 series. Leonard staying behind in Los Angeles to take care of his right knee that has kept him out of action since Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals. Over the weekend, there was at least one report that claimed Leonard was upset with the Clippers medical staff, believing they had misdiagnosed an earlier injury that made this one more serious. Where we heard that before. But in this case, he has remained engaged with his teammates by either texting or showing up at the games, except this one. Game 5 tonight, Phoenix with a chance to close out the series at home. But the Clippers start strong with their season on the line. Terrence Mann muscles inside for 2. LA jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Suns get back in it. Cameron Johnson knocks down the 3. Phoenix pulls back within 6. Now the Clippers strike later in the quarter. Reggie Jackson scores high off the glass with 0.4 left in the first quarter. LA leads 36-26 after 1. Suns hit their stride in the second quarter, though. Devin Booker drills a 3-ball that cuts the lead back down to 3. But Marcus Morris has 20 first-half points. LA leads at halftime, 59-52. Let's get an update on that score down the fourth quarter. Clippers looking to stay alive, leading right now 112-96. The Atlanta Hawks may be without their all-star Trae Young after he rolled his ankle when he stepped on the foot of a ref in the third quarter of Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals last night. He would lead the game only to return, but just shoot 1 of 4, and the Hawks 113-102 loss at home. Meantime, the Bucks' Chris Middleton went off. He outscored the Hawks single-handedly in that fourth quarter, 20-17, and wound up with 38 points to push Milwaukee out to a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 series.
I think where our team is so unselfish, if anybody has it going, that ball goes to them. Some games it's me, some games it's Giannis, some games it's Drew. We all have a great feel about who has it going, who has the best matchup, and who can create the best look. So when it's my turn or my time to have it, I'm thinking the same way to try to get the best shot up for everybody.
All right, what to do with the fan that caused a massive pileup at the Tour de France? Next. French authorities have launched an investigation after a fan caused a massive pileup during the stage 1 of the Tour de France of the week. And it appears to be a woman holding a sign right here for television cameras when came in contact with a German rider, Tony Martin, that resulted in the massive pileup. Look, he's run over right there by one of the bikers in back. Mango bikes are left on the side of the road, forcing some to withdraw. The woman left the scene before police arrived, and now they're asking for witnesses to come forward and identify her. We are out to help my favorite charity this summer, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, more specifically St. Vinny's Bistro, the Haven for Hope that feeds the homeless and working poor of Bexar County. Our friends at Haney & Company are putting together a charity golf tournament this August at the Corey Golf Club. Just go to their website right now to sign up, haneycpas.com/golf, to get in on the fun. And getting back to that, I don't know, what are they going to do with her when they find her? Are they going to charge her with something?
They said they were going to sue her.
At least sue her,
That's
yeah.
one of the articles I read, but it's like I went to a bike race and a NASCAR crash.
Exactly, it broke out.
Thank you, Greg. We'll be right back. It seems nothing can stop true love, not even memory loss. 56-year-old Peter Marshall proposed to Lisa on a December day while cuddling on the couch. But what he didn't realize is they already got married 12 years ago. Peter has Alzheimer's, and since his diagnosis 3 years ago, his memory has been fading. He often forgets Lisa is his wife. But one thing remains consistent, that he loves her. So when he proposed, Lisa agreed, not wanting to miss an opportunity to create another beautiful memory with her husband. They renewed their vows in April. Lisa says she's the luckiest girl in the world to have Peter fall in love with her twice.
Love conquers all.
Beautiful story.
Tomorrow's going to be more of the same. Afternoon pop-up downpours, random in nature.
That does it for the Night Beat. Don't forget, Good Morning San Antonio starts tomorrow at 4:30.
Good night.